Dear Dharma friends and all practitioners, today is a Saturday, the 4th of October 2025. We come back to the weekend with the sessions of asking questions, answer, and sharing experience in practice. This week, the topic is the peaceful mind will lead to the peaceful, the normal breathing. So when we have a peaceful mind, our breathing, our respiration will be normal. When we don't have a peaceful mind, sometimes the respiration is not normal. We're breathing a little faster or slower than usual. When we don't have a peaceful mind, which means we also having some attachment, still cannot get rid of our illusion in the mind, our thinkings in the mind. This will lead to the suffering of the life, the misery of the life, and this can lead to the disease of our mind. When we do the practice, asking questions, raising doubt, the ultimate goal is to detach ourselves from all the thinkings and liberate our mind from all of these thinking. This is why the Buddha and the patriarchs always have a clear instruction for us to practice. Our habit, our ignorance is always there to challenge us from our practice. It's not letting our mind to go into the peace. This is why the Buddha and the patriarchs always created these precepts, these rules in the monastery, the schedules for us to follow so we can practice on the right path. However, as a practitioner, sometimes we don't follow these precepts or the schedules in the monastery. So in order to practice correctly and focus on the practice, in the monastery, we have a chance to meet our Dharma friends, to meet our master. We had a chance, a better chance to practice on the right path. However, sometimes these good chance to practice can also go with a bad behavior. In practicing too, just like when people came to a monastery, they help out monastery by doing the goodness, give their helps for everyone in the monastery to practice. Those who living in the monastery, sometimes they don't use that opportunity to practice in order to repay those helpers, but they just follow their own habit, their own thinking in the mind, and couldn't focus on the practice at all. And that we're running after the thinking, we're running after the habit, and we won't be able to repay our helpers. In order to make a peaceful mind, we need to follow the precepts and the schedule in order to practice. Always practice, follow all of these arrangements that monastery rules had made in order to help us to practice. Ultimately, our practice will help us to enter our Buddha wisdom, as in the Heart Sutra. The Buddha reminds us that all 3 generations of the Buddha using this wisdom of the Heart Sutras to attain their ultimate goal. We listen to this reminder almost every day. However, sometimes we don't follow this at all, even though we had the pearl in our pockets, but we don't know how to use it. As a practitioner, when we're doing the practice, our mind eventually will be in peace, and we continue to practice and follow all of these precepts and a schedule to practice. Our mind will be peaceful, and we don't run after the attachment. We don't run after the arrogance of the mind. And we will continue to practice. We don't be lazy. We don't be late for any schedule in the monastery. These habits is always there to interfere with our practice. Just because our mind is not strong enough, it's always weak, we cannot overcome the challenges, the tricks of the mind. However, because of the mind that always follow the precepts and the schedule, we be able to consolidate our practice, consolidate our behavior in practice, and we overcome all of these challenges and the ignorance. It's just like in the herd of horses, all those strong horses, they always running ahead to lead all the horses, the strong and the weak one, to go together. The horse, the stronger one, is always helping the weaker one. It's just like when we practice, our goodness will help those who are not doing the right things and encourage them to practice. Just like the horse, the herd of horse, the stronger ones always helping the weaker one. They always going together as a herd. The stronger one lead the whole herds to go to the area that had foods and helping each other in all activities in the herd. So for our practitioners, we always had a leader to help us. The leader will do the example for everybody to follow. And if we are the weaker in the monastery, we have to look at the example of our leader and follow them so we can get to our goal. Everybody in the monastery must follow the rules, must follow the schedule, and work together in order to show our actions. We not only talking, but we apply all of those knowledge into our actions. We don't follow those arrogant mind or follow those mind of attachment and showing everybody, show off our abilities with others. However, we always respect everybody in the monastery and we correct ourselves by doing the practice, follow the precepts, and continue to practice. That is the topic for this week. If you have any questions or want to share your own experience, go ahead and speak up. Kim Hoan, go ahead. I have a questions and hope that you can help me to resolve the problem. This morning, there's a kid that's asking the questions and sharing his experience in practice with you. And this kid is the one that always follow the meditation practice every day. Every day, I have about 30 minutes of meditation for all the kids. And I was there with them all the time to help them in practice. And this kid, he's always has a problem that I couldn't have help them. So when our kids doing the sitting meditations, he paying attention to all the kids in the meditation sessions, when he saw everybody not focusing or they moving around too much, he always corrected them. This is his habit, that he's always looking at other people and always criticize them. And when I try to give him some advice, he went back to the practice. However, he still have that habit of looking at other people to criticize other people when they're not practicing or they moving around too much. I am thinking that I will prohibit him from going to the sessions and let him be outside, or I should let him in and don't pay attention to him. Could you give me some advice on this situations so I can help him in the meditation session that we had? This is the habit that all of us had. The kids is the same. When they doing the meditations, they always looking at other people's mistakes and try to correct them. They don't know about their own problem. It's just like the meditation, the patriarch told us that, like a banker, the bank teller who working in the bank, they counting the monies of the bank. Those are not their monies, but they only counting the monies from others. So for these kids, sometimes they still don't understand this, the purpose of doing the meditations. They don't understand why they have to do the meditation yet. And that's why they always have these habits that interfere with their practice. The kids is always the kids. They always follow their habits, follow what they think, and they do whatever that they want. This is why the parents, they have to be very careful when they teach them in studying. They ask them to study with a stick next to them to remind them that they will need to study seriously and they get the reward. If they don't, they might get a punishment. So as the helper in these situations, we need to be careful and we need to help our kids to practice carefully based on their abilities. We don't use our anger, or we don't put our hatred on them. We don't use our authorities to force them to do the what that they don't want. It's not like we're living in the forest. The stronger animals will scare the weaker animals. As the human being, we need to help these kids. However, we need to understand their behavior and help them without these anger, these hatreds in our mind. If we want to use these angers or the hatreds to teach our kids, it's like a person who pick up a fire and throw at other people. Our hands get hurt already. For these kids, it's not like just one day or 1 month or 1 year they can get the concepts right away. We need to advise them repeatedly. We don't hit them. We don't put our angers on them, but we gave them advice and be patient with them. As the helper, we always use our love to convince these kids. It's just like the relatives in the families, the brothers and sisters in families. We love each other like a brother and a sister. Be careful in our practice, and we need to practice ourselves too in order to help these kids. And that is the way that we deal with these kids. Is that understandable? Yes, I understand. When I do the sitting meditation with them, I close my eyes. I told them that when you do in the meditations, you don't pay attention to other friends around. And this kids is always paying attention to other people. It seemed like I had to give him advice every day. Could you help him this Saturday? Anyways, you need to be patient with this kids. You can pull him away from the hurt and advise him slowly. Be patient with him. Be normal with him. When you're practicing, don't pay attention too much to this kids. And when you need to give him advice, then give him advice. Thank you for your words. Pháp Tuệ, go ahead. I'd like to ask a question related to Dharma friends who share with me. And can you help us And could you please help us by saying slowly so Hưng can interpret for this person? This person, when he couldn't come to the monastery, he missed the schedule in the monastery. Even when he practicing at home, he sometimes couldn't follow the practice. Sometimes he contemplate on the practice instead of asking questions and raising doubt. This person also believe that he has the belief in his Buddha nature. However, he still couldn't practice correctly. I believe that this person is having the mind of thinking of the practice at the monastery. This either reflects his belief in the Buddha nature. Could you please help him how to practice and detach himself from all the thinkings so he can practice correctly? When we're losing our practice and we try to put in something else, just like a contemplations during the practice, that is not a belief in a Buddha nature. It's just because we still have something that we ask for in this practice, that is not a belief in a Buddha nature. When we practicing at home, we don't have a chance to practice with our Dharma friends or our master. We feel frustrated when we practicing at home. When we're practicing at home, we feel like we're missing something. We're missing our Dharma friends and our master to help us. And we try to focus on our breathing meditations, or we go back to the contemplations, meditations, and those are just the mind of not believing in our Buddha nature. We already get our mind out of our practice already. It's not one mind, one practice anymore. We don't get our belief in our Buddha nature as a goal, but we using what we ask for, what we achieve as a goal. We not following the means that the Buddha and the Patriarch gave us, but we using the mind, the concept, the conclusive mind to practice the assumptive mind to practice, and that's why our attachment is still there. When we cannot digest the teaching of the Buddha and the patriarchs, we always try to come up with something else in our practice. We thought that the one that we come up is the way of helping us to do the practice better. That is our own opinions. We put in our own opinions in a practice. When we still have these own opinions and try to do our practice using our own opinions, which means we're not going on the right path. As the Buddha said that if you're losing the goodness mind in practice, the bodhisattva mind in practice, even when you practice continuously, you use the mind of a ghost, you're going on the wrong path. It's just because you don't have the Dharma friends or you have the master to follow every day. You practicing at home and you try to come up with some way to compensate your practice, and that is the attachment mind that you had following the knowledge, the opinions of your own. It, like the Lai-Kwa Zen masters always remind us that we always need to follow just one mind, one actions, one practice. Like Chiều Zen master said that even in 30 years of practicing one mind, one practice, one actions, if you don't get enlightenment, just come here and cut my head off. If you believe in that, you need to practice asking questions and raising doubt. That all you're doing. Don't put in your own opinions. Don't try to come up with something else to do in your practice. Just like the patriarch said that even when you can find some other methods that can go faster than this method, can make you get enlightenment right away, you still don't forget your old methods, your old means, and continue to practice and believe in your own practice. You don't run after the thinking of your mind. Don't run after the promise of other means. Our mind, our ignorance is always there to interfere with our practice and lure us away from our practice toward the wisdom of the Buddha nature. Is that understandable? I hope that my Dharma friends will understand and just come back to asking questions and raising doubt. Don't create anything else and put in your own opinions in the practice. We're running out of time.